Welcome. This is the Instructional Design or ID unit proposal for supporting SIM educators in formulating research questions for evidence-based practice. For this Instructional Design unit proposal, my target learners are simulation healthcare professionals and educators. Simulation in healthcare education allows professionals a safe space to practice critical skills that they can utilize in clinical practice. The simulation cases used for these scenarios should reflect current practices and challenges that healthcare professionals encounter. It is important that simulation healthcare professionals and educators feel confident and supported in conducting literature searches so they can find up-to-date resources that support evidence-based practice, or EBP, for clinical practices that are utilized in simulation cases. I believe this goal can be accomplished by creating an instructional design unit that highlights PICO or other similar healthcare professional mnemonics, discusses how to refine database search parameters focusing on time parameters and peer-reviewed parameters, discusses the importance of understanding the type of question for identifying the best study design, and discusses the importance of understanding the type of study and how it relates to the hierarchy of evidence. There are an abundance of materials, tools, and learning objects regarding PICO and EBP that can be used as support. Here are the ones suggested for utilization in this instructional design unit. The Johns Hopkins Question Development Tool, which is a 2-page handout that helps walk clinicians through PICO, which will be modified for SMU faculty and educators. The Duke University Library Online Tutorial, their Introduction to Evidence-Based Practice, and the SMU LibGuide, Introduction to Evidence-Based Practice, or EBP, Research. The development and delivery of this instructional design unit should occur through the Services Coordinator in the HSSC. The Services Coordinator in the HSSC assists with providing resources to SIM educators and faculty at SMU. Having the Services Coordinator create this ID unit will help the SIM educators and faculty feel that they have the necessary support and resources to succeed in the work that they do. The goals for this ID unit were designed in consultation with Cynthia F. Johnson, medical librarian, and through a short informal focus interview with SIM educators from SMU. How will we know if the instructional design unit is successful? Well, to determine whether the instructional design unit goals were met, surveys will be utilized to gauge how the SIM educators feel about engaging in literature searches before and after participating in this instructional design unit. The instructional design unit goals will also be checked by reviewing any updates made by SIM educators for the supporting documentation and resources used in simulation cases before and after completing the instructional design unit. The goals for this instructional design unit will be to briefly define evidence-based practice, establish the importance of utilizing recent and up-to-date evidence-based practice resources for simulation cases, overview the steps for refining database search parameters, describe the 4 different types of questions and how each question may help you determine the best study design, and describe the hierarchy of evidence. To be successful in this instructional design unit, participants are expected to have the following entry behavior and learner characteristics. They should have familiarity with formulating clinical research questions. They should have basic web and database navigation skills, and they should be capable of critical thinking. Learners will be asked to complete a short pre-instruction survey of skills and concepts before instruction begins to ensure that these skills are in place. Learners are expected to be motivated by the recent requests to update SIM cases with recent EBP, as well as a self-motivation by the desire to feel confident in fulfilling job expectations. Following completion of this instructional design unit, it is expected that learners will be able to define evidence-based practice and recognize its importance for simulation cases. In addition, learners will know how to refine database search parameters, and learners will be aware of the 4 different types of questions and how each question may help them to determine the best study design. Finally, learners will be aware of the hierarchy of evidence. In order to meet these goals, it is expected that learners will begin the instructional unit with a refresher on evidence-based practice and how it relates to simulation. This step will emphasize how important it is to formulate a strong research question to find relevant resources. Then learners will be guided through how to sort and refine resources with a refresher on refining database parameters and a general understanding of how to evaluate the refined resources within the context of the research question. As they go through this progression, learners will participate in several activities, such as reading and watching supporting materials, handouts, surveys, and quizzes. At the end of this instructional design unit, learners will be asked to complete a short summative quiz. The quiz will not be graded as none of the course is graded. Rather, the quiz will be utilized to help reinforce the existing learning material and to check if any adjustments should be made. To provide maximum flexibility, this instructional design unit will be delivered as an online asynchronous course that participants can access and progress through at their own pace. To be successful, the following materials and learning objects need to be developed for this instructional design unit. Although asynchronous, the services coordinator contact information will be embedded into the instructional design unit to ensure that additional support and feedback is available. As previously stated, learners will be expected to complete a short summative online quiz at the end to ensure that the information provided was in alignment with the unit goals and learning outcomes. The quiz questions will be utilized as a final opportunity to reinforce the learning objectives. And the quiz responses will also be used, along with a survey, to revise any of the existing instructional unit materials to better meet identified needs. Additionally, all responses will be used to identify and add in any new materials or areas that might increase the instructional unit's effectiveness and relevance. Thank you for taking the time to watch this presentation and to consider this instructional design unit. I truly appreciate it, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.